I watched my wife of 10 years as she walked into the room where I was working on a report for work. She looked very good. Grace was wearing a light brown leather skirt with a pale yellow blouse and a cardigan sweater over brown high stiletto boots. She has an amazing body that would be fit for Playboy. I'm very proud of her. I smiled at her. "You look good enough to eat, honey. Say hi to Ian for me." She walked over and kissed me on the cheek. I pulled away and looked at her. "Is that all I'm going to get? Are you going to another of your usual Tuesday meetings today?" "No. Today is a field trip instead of a meeting." "Have fun. What time will you be back?" "I think around 10 as usual." "I love you, honey. Go to bed early and get some rest. You've been working too hard." Grace has stayed home since I started making very good money as a sales manager for a major manufacturer of reverse osmosis systems for large users. We sell products primarily to military and municipal water utilities around the world. Grace and I were doing well financially, and the recession didn't affect us much, if at all. For the last 5 years, I had taken large blocks of company stock in lieu of bonuses, and they were now worth 3 times as much. I tried to give Grace everything she wanted and thought we had a good, solid marriage. Our sex life had slowed down a bit over the last few years, but I thought that was to be expected. However, it had dropped to 0 in the last few months. She always had some excuse. We had each been married previously and both had grown children. I was still in awe of Grace's beauty and personality. She looked much younger than her 42 years. She could easily have been a girl of about 25. She was energetic and lively. I myself am in good physical shape. I exercise regularly and also run a few miles every day. My height is 168 centimeters and my weight is 240 pounds. I was a very good defensive back for the Florida Gators for almost 3 seasons, until a severe cruciate ligament tear and a torn medial and lateral meniscus ended my soccer career. I still run with a slight limp and have to be careful and use a knee brace to avoid putting too much stress on my knee when playing sports. I thought about how beautifully dressed my wife is going to a women's organization meeting. "What kind of excursion is that?" "Where to?" I asked her what the meetings were about, and she said they were about the relationship between men and women in marriage. She said they discuss all aspects of that relationship, including social interaction, medical issues, sexual relationships, and financial issues. Where the hell would you go on a field trip for all that? I thought about it and decided to call Jen's husband and see what he knew. Frank answered. We exchanged pleasantries, and I asked what he knew about the meetings the girls attended. He seemed surprised that I didn't know about all this. He seemed reluctant to talk about it. I asked where they went on the excursion. He said he didn't know about field trips and that they were going to a training demonstration tonight and would be home late. I asked what that training was, and he was very evasive. I asked where it was taking place, and he hesitated to tell me anything. Finally, he said, "Mike, if Grace wants you to know something, she'll tell you herself." "What? What's so secret you can't tell me about it?" "Mike, just drop it, please. Ask Grace. I've already said too much already. I don't want any trouble." Now I was really worried, and I was really curious about what my wife was into. I had no reason not to trust her completely. I had never known her to lie to me about anything. I sat and pondered, trying to figure out where I could get answers. I decided I needed more information before I said anything to Grace. I thought about Frank, my brother-in-law. We didn't have much in common, but we were always friendly. I thought of him as a soft-spoken weakling who'd been spanked by Jen, Grace's sister. There was almost no doubt in that family about who wore the pants. I looked at my computer, then shifted my gaze to Grace's laptop. She spent a lot of time on it when I was at work. I walked over to her desk and turned on the Dell. There were 2 or 3 icons on her desktop that I didn't recognize. I clicked on one of them and a login page appeared. It asked for a username and password. I tried going to other sites and found the same thing. I clicked on her internet. It was the standard welcome page from AOL. I tried the history feature and it showed nothing. I checked the management settings and found that she was storing 0 of the last sites she visited. I reset it to store 100 sites. I shut down her computer and called my brother, Tommy. I asked his advice, asking him not to tell anyone about my request. He said he would send me 2 programs to download, one a keystroke logger and the other a program that would allow me to monitor her computer or save everything she does on her computer to my hard drive. Tommy is a computer geek at the local FBI office. He told me that if I don't uninstall these programs within 10 days, they will self-destruct and erase all the contents of my computer. Tommy told me about a store where you can buy a voice recorder to tap your phone. It was not illegal to use it on your own phone. He also told me that I should buy a GPS tracking device to put on her car while I was there. It could be tracked from any computer by plugging the receiver into a USB port. The computer would show the location of the GPS unit. I made a shopping list and found the address of the store in the phone book. Grace got home around midnight and quietly entered our room. I pretended to be asleep. For the rest of the week, I worked only with the programs I had received from my brother, Tommy. They worked well enough to give me an idea of what was going on. I took a few hours off work and met with Tommy and some of his co-workers. Tuesday night, I was watching TV when Grace said she was leaving for a meeting. I looked at her as she kissed me goodbye. "Are you going to be late again tonight? I don't like going to bed when you're still out of town. I might be a little late, but I hope to be home before you fall asleep." I sat and watched TV until Grace got home around 30. She was surprised that I was still awake. She stared at me. "What are you doing at this hour?" I looked at her. "I guess that's my cue." "Where the hell have you been at this hour? Is this the time you usually come home and find me asleep?" I turned on the overhead light. This was no longer the impeccably dressed woman who had left the evening before. Her makeup was gone and her clothes were in a slight disarray, as if she had dressed hastily. I walked over to her and leaned in to kiss her. She turned her head. I could smell the odor of alcohol in her breath. I pulled back and said, "Are you going to tell me what's going on?" "I think it's fair to tell you that right now, in my opinion, we are on the road to divorce. Is that what you want?" Her jaw dropped. Hell no, Mike. I love you. I don't want a divorce." "Then we need to talk right now, where you've been and what's going on. I think you're cheating on me. Who is your lover?" "I don't love anyone but you, Mike, and that's God's truth." "Great. Then you won't mind taking off your panties and giving them to me, will you?" His eyes widened. "What? Hand me your panties." "Wait a minute, Mike, calm down. Let me fix us a drink and relax for a minute, then we can talk about this calmly without yelling at each other." "Okay. Just don't get out of my sight and try to change your panties." "I have no reason to do that. You know me better than that. I'm too fastidious a woman." "I'll be right back. You can come with me or watch me from your seat while I make the drinks." "Okay. Just keep so I can always see you." I watched her pour our drinks. I couldn't see everything she was doing, but I could see her back as she worked. A few minutes later, she returned with the drinks. My Captain's and water tasted good. She watched as I took a few sips and set my drink aside. She came over and knelt down next to me. "Honey, I love you and always will. You are the sweetest and most loving husband in the world. I want to grow old with you and have you always by my side." She kissed me gently on the lips. I started to laugh a little. Then everything around me went dark for a second. I couldn't realize what had happened. I was still sitting in the chair, but now I had a cup of coffee in front of me. I still felt a little dazed and tried to reach for the coffee. I couldn't move my hand. It was restrained. My left arm was also restrained, as were my legs. I closed my eyes for a moment and tried to gather my thoughts. I heard a chair scrape and I opened my eyes. Standing in front of me was Jen, my sister-in-law. She smiled. "Are you feeling better now, Mike?" Then I looked over and saw Grace and Frank. They were looking at me. Grace leaned over to me and put a straw in my coffee. "Try taking a sip of your coffee, honey. It will help clear your head." first, leaned forward and took a sip, and it did indeed taste good. I looked at Grace. Looks like I was right about you, or I wouldn't be so tied up. What are you going to do? I guess I'm lucky I'm still alive, or will that come later? A tear ran down her cheek. I promise you won't be harmed no matter what happens. Thank you, Grace. But I think that promise is as good as the one you made to me at the altar 10 years ago. She turned and ran out of the room. I turned to Frank and Ian. I guess you two know what's going on, don't you? Frank replied, Yes, we know what's going on. You dot. Jen snapped her fingers and he instantly closed his mouth. Jen looked at Frank. Keep your mouth shut until you're asked, she told me. You'll be told what's going on when your wife wants you to know. If you keep your mouth shut, you might find out something, but for now, just take her word for it. She really loves you. She doesn't wish you harm. I looked at one and then the other. Grace came back into the room. She looked at me. Mike, please sit down and relax. We need to think this through. I belong to a group of men and women who believe that the current traditional marriage relationship does not accurately reflect the true needs of the modern woman. We believe that the woman should have complete control over all aspects of marriage. We believe that the husband should be completely subservient to the wife. I wondered what the hell she was talking about. She continued, The division of household responsibilities should be determined by the wife. In a modern marriage, the wife is effectively the CEO of the home, and by extension, the marriage. The husband's job is to provide the income needed to sustain the family to the best of his ability. A secondary duty of the husband is to provide sexual favors to the wife to the best of his ability. The husband also performs other functions such as yard work and home repairs, again, to the best of his ability. Any of the functions he performs may not fully satisfy the wife, and if she requires a higher standard than he can provide, she may, of course, require additional help. For example, a broken pipe in the house may require the services of a plumber. As in any functional unit, there must be a chain of command for the obvious reason. Someone must be in complete control. Instant obedience and respect for authority is required of the husband. Thus, there must be a system of punishments and rewards to ensure this authority. The woman must use the only real authority she possesses, her sex. Every husband must wear a chastity device to assure his obedience. Mike, honey, you have been fitted with a standard instrument cage that has been locked. I have a code that will allow the cage to be removed. We're told it's very comfortable until you get aroused. The stronger it is, the more painful it is. In practice, it's so painful that arousal becomes impossible. I couldn't believe my ears. Had my wife lost her mind? She smiled at me. Honey, it won't change our lives that much. We will still be together. I will always love you. I looked at them. Can I ask a couple questions? Grace replied, Of course, honey. What do you want to know? Well, Grace, I thought I was a good husband. I think I've provided you with a nice house, a very nice car, generous allowances for chores and clothes. We go on vacations every 6 months or so. I try to be attentive to your needs, but you've been turning down my offers of sex for months now. What else do you need or want that you find it necessary to go to such extremes to get it? What exactly is it that you want? What are you missing? John said, Let me tell him how we are further increasing our control over our men. We have a number of men in our organization that we call bulls. They come on call to fulfill our desires. They are all young, handsome, large, and rough men. They are well trained in martial arts. They are ready to help you become an obedient and happy submissive husband. They also give relief and comfort to wives who are deprived of sex because of the need to discipline their husbands. Do you understand all this, Mike? Yes, of course, I understand. I'll be forced to become a cuckold so my wife can have sex with other guys whenever she wants. Is that right? Grace looked at me, then lowered her eyes. Jan smiled. It's a side benefit, it's true. In fact, all husbands learn to enjoy watching and helping their wife enjoy the services of a superior male. All bulls must be very rich. The doorbell rang and Jan looked at Frank. "Open the door, Frank. 2 of the bulls should be here now." Frank hurried away. He came back and I heard him say as they entered, "Here are Master Ali and Master Gideon. Mistress Jan is here. Is there anything I can do to help each of you?" "Where is Mistress Grace?" Both black-skinned men were huge. One of them walked over to me and took my chin in his big hand. He turned my face up and looked me in the eyes. "I and the other bulls will satisfy your wife as a normal thing from now on. Do you have a problem with that?" I replied softly, "No, sir, master." "What can I do for you?" Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Frank greet Ian. "Okay, hunk. Go upstairs to your old bedroom and help get your wife ready for the best sex of her life." "Yes, sir, I'd like to see that, but I'm restrained." He reached down and untied my wrists and ankles. "Okay, sissy, go." I hurried up the stairs and into the bedroom where Grace was sitting on the edge of the bed in a lovely dress. She looked amazed to see me. The 2 black men looked at me. "Well, get started. We don't have all day." I raised my hand. "What's the matter, sissy?" "Please, master, I've never done this before. Can I ask Sissy Frank to show me how to do it so I can do it right next time?" I heard Frank shout, "Yes, master, I'm coming." Frank walked into the room with Jan behind him. He looked at me. "Get some clean towels and put them next to the bed, then get the video camera ready to film this session. Hurry up, we shouldn't keep master waiting." I brought the towels, went to the closet, took out the video camera and put it on the dresser. I went back into the closet. When I came out, Frank was already lifting the robe over Grace's head. Her sexy, beautiful body was exposed. She looked up at me and I thought a tear ran down her cheek. Then she smiled at one of the large black men. I said, "Grace, are you sure this is what you want to do?" She looked at me again. "I think so." Both black men stared at me. I said, "Then our marriage is over." I pulled my Mossberg 12-gauge shotgun from behind my back. "Okay, everybody sit down now. Behave yourselves and no one will get hurt. I'm very good with this shotgun. I won't have any trouble blowing your brains out. Perhaps you will survive." I saw the muscles of the nearest black man tense and pointed the gun at his face. "Hey, I was lucky enough to escape and save my wife from a brutal rape. Too bad you both get your heads blown off and Ian and Frank accidentally get shot in the commotion. Damn shame." Frank pulled himself closer to Jan. "Mike, please don't hurt Jan. She didn't hurt anyone." "Bullshit. I think it was all her doing. She's got you covered, didn't she? I'll tell you what, it took guts to stand up to Jan. That's true love. I think you wasted your love like me on someone who doesn't love you. If you love someone, you don't make them a cuckold. It shows the opposite. A complete lack of feeling and respect for you, except as a piece of trash that she can throw away anytime she wants. Love. Hell, I wouldn't let anyone do that to my worst enemy." My shotgun went off. Allie fell to the floor. "Next time you move, I'll kill you." "Don't try that. I can kill you all in seconds. Grace, pick up the phone and dial 911 now, before I think about what you wanted me to do for your amusement." Grace sobbed. "I don't know what you were supposed to do. I think you would have gotten a good laugh out of that, right? I also noticed that you took about $12,000 out of our savings, right?" "No, I gave them 5 checks for $50 each. I didn't think you'd notice." "Well, baby, they took out one for $50, 2 for $500, and 2 for $5,000. They've increased your checks. Now dial that number." She stared at me with her mouth open. Then she said, "I never thought you would do that. They said you would willingly do what they wanted. They said you would willingly do it too. They said it would relax you and we'd spend more time together, that you wanted to serve me. I didn't need anyone but you, Mike. I'm sorry, baby, that won't help. You've already slept with Allie, haven't you?" "I think so, but I was drunk and I don't know how far I went." Shut up and dial that number. These bulls are trying to think of ways to get at me. That will get at least one of them killed. If that's what you want, his blood will be on your hands, and so will my blood. Your blood? Yes, girl. You were the reason for my life, and now it's gone. Nothing matters now. I'm dead inside. I'm a corpse looking for somewhere to fall when it's all over. I'm sorely tempted to kill the whole rotten bunch of you. Jan, I think you're proud of yourself for ruining our marriage and me along with it. Frank, you helped her do it. You're all crazy. Where did all this nonsense come from? They're fantasies. They were never real. They're just imaginary sexual dreams. It's just a scam so these so-called bulls can sleep with a bunch of married white women. It worked. Someone's banging on the door. Must be the law. Let them in, Frank. Just don't do any tricks or somebody will get hurt. 2 black cops burst into the bedroom, pointed their pistols at me, and yelled at me to drop the gum. I did. They smiled and greeted Allie and his buddy. Allie raised his shotgun and pointed it at me. Now, you white bastard, I'm going to blow you away. He pointed the shotgun at my chest, and Grace jumped in front of me as he pulled the trigger. There was an impatient click as the hammer ejected the fired cartridge case into the empty chamber. There was a stunned silence. I put my arm around Grace. I think you all need to know that this house is surrounded by the FBI and state police. We were aware of your game. I talked to my brother about my suspicions that Grace was cheating on me. He helped me find the password to Grace's computer, which led us to most of the people involved in this scheme. It was really a scam devised by a group of black men so they could take advantage of horny and stupid married white wives and get paid a lot of money for it. They planned to sell you girls, and some of the guys, when you got hooked on the drugs, they slipped into your drinks. I'm wearing a wire and everything is recorded on hidden video cameras. There are about 6 other people who are probably already in custody. I pushed Grace back slightly as more men piled into our bedroom. Grace, I have to give you credit for trying to save my life. I'm going to have to think long and hard about whether I can ever forgive you or trust you again. I really hope you're not pregnant. I'm not raising Ali's baby. The bulls agreed that they would never use condoms and get as many women pregnant as possible. I looked at Frank. From what I've learned from some of the emails, I think Jan has already been knocked up by one of the bulls. I guess you'll be babysitting while Jan does the fornicating, right? Don't expect any help from Daddy. He'll be busy until your kid leaves home. Frank looked at Jan. I turned and walked away to give Tommy and his friends a chance to sort things out.